Hey everyone, and this is the final game from the semi-final in Triad, and we have once more Hartmanator against filippoabba, both taking the final deck for an ultimate matchup, and Hartmanator is going to start with a quite an interesting hand, probably not going to mulligan because he's able to provide multiple options right from the get-go. And Hartmanator, yes, plays Flaxia for a nice 2 Ember start and giving the turn to Filippo. And Filippo has a well, pretty much plays Despixian Vigor, so matches the Ember creation and starts racing with this Kota deck. And now it is up to Hartmanator to decide what he wants to do. Probably is going to play his Saurian hand and force a reaction and force basically his opponent to deal with the Philophosaurus. That would be my bet. Or alternatively, he could play Star Alliance and play the Fog Bank just to protect Kirby while he's being played. Let's see. Could be interesting to reserve the Saurians for later. No, he plays Saurian, captures 1 Ember with the Centurion, plays the Philophosaurus, and Perfectus Ludo. And it ends up being a very wise choice because Kirby ends up with a very nice Star Alliance hand. He would be able to play it right away. But it's this basically playing his 2 artifacts and moving on to these opponent's turns. So Filippo probably a bit stuck with his Miasma in hand at the moment. And I'm not sure he has got ways to archive it, so let's see how much value we'll get out of that. Moving on to Hartmanator, and well, I think technically the difficulty here is to figure out where you put all these upgrades. Philophosaurus is a high value creature, and alternatively he could also protect the Kirby, or spread the upgrades across the 2 creatures. I think these are the most interesting ones. Although obviously Lights of the Archons, if you put all of them on the same creature, it's much nicer. So it plays obviously Star Alliance, plays Kirby. Now in hindsight, there's not much response possible on the side of Filippo aside from the Fog Bank preserves from the attack. And Light of the Archon on Kirby. Force Field on Kirby. And then that would lead me to think he's going to use the Light of the Archon on the Philophosaurus. Yeah. And closes his turn there. So he draws the Quixelstone, and to me the Quixelstone was quite detrimental to the previous game, so I'm curious to see whether or not he will be playing it. So Archon is getting played. Pawn Sacrifice, so good job on protecting this Philophosaurus and the Kirby. Sacrificing the Archon, which is interesting. Okay. Could have been tempted to sacrifice the Pixie, I'm not sure. And 3 damage to Philophosaurus, Ludo, Miasma. Okay. So Miasma is getting just for nothing regarding the card effect, just 1 Ember. And we're moving to Hartmanator. Lovely, well, quite an elegant set of possibilities here. And especially on the Saurian side. There's a lot that can be done, and he has an opponent that is not in position to forge. So let's see. But my best guess would be Chant of Hubris on the Pixie. Attack. Oh no! He plays Star Alliance and plays the Quicksilverstone. That's quite amazing. So right now, the Quicksilverstone does nothing for his opponent. His opponent can play all his Pixie Rush, no problem with that. But he himself is stacking. Okay, so reaping with the Kirby. I would really have discarded the Quicksilverstone, but let's see how much value he gets out of it versus his opponent. And then he can play a card. I would probably play the Gravity Cycle. The unnatural selection is not really cool right now, unless he's ready to even further impair himself. So I'll probably Gravity Cycle the Fog Bank and just generate as much Ember as I can right now. No Imperious Customs. Okay, well that's also a very good one, and it protects the Philophosaurus, so not so bad. But then again, here we are, end of his turn. He's got 5 creatures versus 1. Can't play any of his Stenopius and Jata, and he would have been so much further down the line. And so far his opponent is not going to be annoyed by this. And then Pixie Rush, Rip with the Pixie, I suppose. Yep. Plays second Death Pixie, goes to 8. Plays the Ape. And plays the Dew Fairy. Ends his turn at 8 Ember, and Hartmanator can forge his first key, and now he can't play his Saurian. I think he still should. Probably his best option is to go ahead and attack, but let's see. The Dew Fairy is the problematic one, I think, out of the creatures. He wants also probably to get rid of some of his cards in hand. But the right play, I think, at this turn would have been Saurian. And he plays Saurian. Alright. So what do you do now? Rips with Philophosaurus. Archive 1, move 1 card to hand and discard 1. Alright. And gets the Kangafan, discards the Druid. And once again, I'm confused by this Quicksilverstone play, because I wouldn't have played it. I think it's more of a trap in many cases. But at the same time, I mean, this guy is in semi-finals, so he probably knows what he's doing. And, okay, discards the 2 Saurian creatures, plays the Chant of Hubris, okay, move the Ember from Thero to, I don't know, one of the fairies. Interesting. So he, moves to one of the fairies, captures it, captures the another Ember while killing the fairy, and reaps with Ludo. So that's pretty cool now, because his opponent's forges, and we've got 1 Urchin and pretty much a lot of rush now. And wisely, I think he discards Selwyn. I don't think he would get a lot of value out of Selwyn. It's much better to prevent his opponent from playing any cards. So what do you do now? You're back at 5 Ember, and your opponent is at 6. If you play Untamed, you have to discard more cards. Once again, you are the one being stopped by this Quicksilver Stone, I think. But you get 3 Ember, maybe potentially 4 if you copy the Ghostly Hand with Mimicry. Or you could go Saurian and continue to draw archive cards that way and leave yourself for a big Untamed turn later on. Because you can go to check, you can move your opponent away from check with a Tribute and with a Centurion. Probably you don't want to do both. You have a couple of options here. Whereas if you play any other houses, you have to let him forge his second key, and I think it's a problem. Because the deck can go fast. I think he's used most of his Amber generation from Untamed and from Shadows. But okay, so Mimicry's the Miasma. Oh, pretty cool. So Mimicry's the Miasma. But then do you play the Unnatural Selection? And what do you kill? Ribs with Flaxia, though I think he's gonna play the Unnatural then. Plays a Natural. Probably to kill the Dew Fairy. But he gets 2 creatures out. The Kangaskhan could be an option here. But probably not, because you want to play more Untamed. You won't have much option to play more Untamed. And Natural Selection, destroy Lotus and Flaxia, makes sense. And Dew Fairy. So then again, you reduce your opportunity with Quicksilver Stone in play to have 3 creatures on the same house, where I still think Quicksilver Stone's benefit is you choose the moment you play it, and when you play it, you also are these lined up with creatures of the same faction. Versus an opponent that has to potentially combine a set of different houses. So that's a difficulty. To me, the Rasnower is the obligatory play, because you want to be able to destroy a bunch of artifacts, whether it's yours or someone else's, and play the Gravity Cycle. Probably gets back to Mimicry, because you can play the Mimicry gets back to Mimicry. And goes on check. So, and this is pretty cool because, hand of this, destroys the Philophosaurus. Good. And now exactly the worst situation. You've got 1 creature of each. And forces you to forge at 9. And in the meantime, bubble the Nephil Ape. I would be tempted to attack Rasnower. No, he gets rid of the Okay, so it gets rid of the ward on Kirby. Not sure it's worth it, but I think it's good in the sense that you have, once again, you're keeping your creature count low, and you force your opponent to work around that. So Forge is at 9 and your opponent is still at 6. And this is the moment where I lost signal and I moved on, and thanks to Multivas, and you can see him on the bottom right, I'm using his stream. So Hartmanator plays the Murmuk we saw in his hand. He still has the Mimicry, of course. Deals 4 damage to 1 Dust Pixie. Okay. Attacks and destroy the Lash. Attacks Urchin. Very good. I think this is what he needs to do right now, even with a Quicksilver Stone in play. To be honest, I'm probably gonna discard the Kangaphant. But that's probably what I would do. And yeah, Mimicry's the Ghostly Hand. So he's really getting the maximum value out of the Mimicry. Gave him like 4 Ember. So Urchin Reaps, gets killed with a Seeker Needle, Poison Wave. No, sorry, gets killed with a Poison Wave, and we also play the Seeker Needle. Okay. Which leaves us now without any target. So what do you do now? Probably use the Kirby. I mean, your opponent is at 10 now. So he's going to forge his second key and he's going to be in a very good position for what's coming next. And we remembered he had a Hysteria, so there's plenty of things. Oh, very nice. Stealth mode. Reap with Kirby. So gets to 4 Ember. Discard the Kirby, and that's really painful. Plays Luck of the Archon on Kirby again, making 9 power, 6 armor right now. And plays the Tribute. Amazing. Okay, it gets to 6 Ember, and so it's actually worked out very, very well, because now what can his opponent do without playing any actions? I don't think there's much. There's no old Bruno. There's maybe, right, Schuler. Very good. Succubus. And anyway, yeah, he couldn't forge because of his Mashtik Marmuk. So what happens now? With a cost of 7 Ember. So now Filippo is at check. Hartmanator needs to find a solution to try to wrap this game up as soon as possible. Goes for Star Alliance again. Could be tempting to attack the Succubus instead of... plays a second stealth mode. Amazing. Getting so much value. Discards Sensitive Garcia. Reaps and ward Kirby. It goes back to 7 Ember. Plays another Tribute. Jesus. A second Tribute gets... Okay, 7. I don't think you need to exalt, but maybe you won't. I think this is the way he's been able to use the force field and to combine it on the Kirby, playing the Tribute on Kirby's turn, is actually, voila. He goes to 10 Ember on Kirby, and claw ends up at 8 ember. What can you do now? Are you able to capture? Plays. Well, that tells me, okay, plays the Murmuk and discards life wave. Oh, wow. Well done.